Climate change is having a great influence in our environment. As we can see, it is leading to global warming. As an individual, the most common step we can take is plant more trees and use our fossil fuels judiciously.
Climate change, according to what I know, is that climate change is the change of the pattern of the temperature of our atmosphere, and how it affects us is like it affects us in every way possible. There's more risk of diseases, and the temperature change can harm us. And
according to me, change of climatic patterns around the world is known as climatic change. According to me, I would prefer that we should stop a lot of pollution.
As a student, I think we should educate others.
According to me, climate change is something that is making Earth unfit for all human beings, and you can prevent climate change by planting trees and avoiding burning of plastics.
As a student, we can try to keep away climate change by spreading awareness and planting more trees to make the temperature stable and providing more fresh air to us. And we can start by the little things, by awareing our friends, and from our friends to their parents, parents to the friends of their parents, and we can spread awareness of climate change.
Hello friends, I would like to highlight some points which we can do as an individual to make our Earth a better place. We can plant more trees and increase the use of firewood, and we can use alternative fuels such as LPGs and stop cutting down trees. And when we plant more trees, we make this Earth a better place for our future generations as well. So I would like to end this by saying that let us all be a part of afforestation rather than deforestation. Thank you.
My name is Sunny. I am a teacher in Ministers Hill Baptist Higher Secondary School. And regarding the topic of climate changes that is taking place in Nagaland, we see changes in the occupation. We see changes in the different professions that Nagas they feel in their everyday today life. For instance, the space is becoming lesser and lesser as the population is increasing, and in order to look after the welfare of the increasing population, more and more forest cover have been removed drastically, and the climate is really changing. Occurrence of landslides and other natural calamities has also increased due to the changes in the climate in Kohima itself. Even if we don't take the whole of Nagaland, another example that the climate in Kohima is changing is that before 30 years back or so, the buildings construction, they do not provide in the buildings, provide space for hanging the ceiling fan. But now when we look at the new buildings, there is always a space that is left for the ceiling fans to be attached to it. So these are some of the changes that I would like to share.
My name is Vipuni Muvi, and I'm teaching science at Maybe High Secondary School. Yeah, for me, climate change is the abnormal change in our weather that become difficult for us to adjust with the temperature. The step that we can take to stop, or the change that we can change our climate is, first point will be cutting down of trees should be stopped or minimized, and then and disposal of waste, all those things should be minimized. Our nation, Indian, should have more agencies, more proper thought with other nations so that we can stop this climate change.
The steps that we can take in order to control or in order to combat this climate change is to create awareness among the young generation through workshops, seminars, and most of all, we must also use our civic sense, which is very important not only for improvement of the climate, but also for the welfare of the society, for development.
Hi everyone, my name is Supong. I'm Chief Conservator of Forests, and I'm also the State Nodal Officer for Climate Change. Today, the hot topic of climate change is catching up all over the world, and even our state is also not safe from this effect of the global climate change. You see, there are a lot of different varied aspects of climate change, and one of the climate change aspects is the global warming. And our state also have witnessed a lot of these changes in the climatic pattern, more heavy rainfall sometimes there are droughts also, and at times we cannot see and predict the weather forecast also. So all these changes that are taking place, it is called as the climate change. And this change is very likely affecting many of the livelihoods of the people of our state. As our state, we are primarily an agriculture-dependent state, and we depend a lot on the weather pattern and the climatic pattern of the area, because we are mostly agriculture-based. And when we cannot predict what is going to happen in the next few days or few weeks and all, the productivity and the availability of the food grains and other producers, it is lowered, and this affects the livelihood of the people. So it is quite important on the context of our state that we are also prepared to what changes may occur to the environment. And it is also quite important that we are all made aware of what is causing climate change and how prepared we are to tackle the effects of the climate change. So there's a long way in mitigating the climate change and the effects, but as a basic to the start of creating awareness, we have started with educating the people, creating awareness amongst the students especially, and then the stakeholders, as well as many of the other different spheres of all the different walks of life. So this is the first step that we can start with in combating climate change.
Climate change is a hot topic these days, because we all know, everybody knows that global warming is taking place, and we are all experiencing the effects of climate change. Well, climate change is a man-made phenomenon because of our discriminate, or rather indiscriminate deforestation, and by not carefully utilizing the fossil fuel, we are being extravagant in our lives. Because of all these, climate change is happening, and because of that, we are feeling the effects. And all of us can contribute in some small way to reduce climate change in our environment, in our neighborhood. We can reduce the effects of climate change by consuming less fossil fuel. That is, well, if you are a car owner, you know how to save fuel. drive around less. Then reduce your usage of plastics. Plant more trees around your house, your neighborhood. I think these are some of the activities each one of us can take part to reduce the effects of climate change. Thank you.
Hello. Climate change, to me, I think it's not a new thing. Climate is changing. But if we study our history, our ancestors, they've survived very well with their traditional knowledge, and I think it's our turn to adapt this climate change. I don't know whether we'll copy our ancestors or with a new technology we'll implement, but I think climate is changing. Thank you.
Climate change is the change that we all are facing in our environment. Day by day, the days are getting hotter, the climate is changing, the seasons are changing. It is high time for us to act something related to our environment. We all are responsible for our environment, for our climate. So we should take preventive measures and also less utilize the natural resources, and also plant more trees and follow the 3 simple R's, that is reduce, reuse, and recycle.
Hello everyone, my name is Imle Jungla Jamer and I want to say something about climate change. In my opinion, nature has been taking care of us for the longest period of time, and I think now it's time for us to take care of our environment and the nature around us. So I encourage each and every one of us to use the 3 R's, that is the reduce, reuse, and recycle. So let us all contribute to taking care of our environment and become climate ambassadors. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to appeal to everyone to have this feeling of carpooling, as we said. And also there are many startups for these electric vehicles, be it 2-wheeler or 4-wheeler, so we can always encourage that, and then there will be less emission of harmful gases. So we can encourage them also, and then it will be for the betterment of our future and also for a greener future. Thank you.
Nagaland, we grow lots of organic vegetables, but nowadays our organic vegetables are depleting due to the use of pesticides. So our yield is also decreasing. So we can use organic pesticides.
When we talk about climate change, we should understand that climate change is the problem that leads to climate change. What we're facing today is the global warming. And what are the issues that we can address this? One example is like our remote areas here in Nagaland, like villages. Most of the people in villages, they are illiterate and they are not well known to modern technologies like electrical uses, like for cooking or any micro ovens or gases or something. So I want to ask the government or anybody or the organization who are taking the initiative of this to encourage them to use like gases or modern techniques that can replace the firewoods for cooking or for any purposes. Because as we see, when we talk about global warming, I think trees or forests are the main source that can prevent this. they can even control the pollutions.
My personal view on climate change. As per my understanding, climate change is an accumulation of weather over a period of time, which affects our day life. For examples, like even here in Nagaland, we are noticing lots of seasonal change. Now we cannot differentiate between rainy season and dry season. Even during the winter time, lots of rain used to come, and we have noticed lots of increase or rise in the temperature as well, which is really affecting us. And even some, to my understanding, some agricultural, there is some variation or there is some change even in the agricultural productions. Because of this climate change or rise in temperature, some groups which were cultivated during four further times are no longer available, or it is not suitable right now due to climate change. And this climate change, if not addressed at the right time, it will impact each and every one of us, especially the future generation. So I think creating awareness on the climate change and taking the right step, at least for the cause of our future generation, is a job or is a responsibility of every responsible citizen in the state.
As the population grows, and then our needs also it tends to increase. So along with it, we cannot just stop deforestation and all. So what I would like to advise is that when you cut one tree, like we should plant more than that. Like, say you cut one tree and then we should plant 10 trees.
As a youth and as a global citizen, it is the responsibility of every individual to bring awareness on this climate change to every nook and corners of our states, to the doorstep to even the doorstep. So, like, with regard to this mitigating climate change, we must emphasize on sustainable development, judicious use of this renewable energy as well as non-renewable energy, planting more trees. This climate effects have more bringing more health hazard to our lives, to our daily lives, so that mitigation as well as adaptability should be more focused. Recently, we have witnessed this flash flood in Dimapur, landslide in the corners of Nagaland, as well as this drought and this uneven distribution of this rainfall as well as erratic rainfall. Moreover, there is difference on this crop pattern. So that these are the effects as well as some of the causes with regard to this climate change.
As a citizen of this world, we should use public transport to minimize climate change, and then we should plant more trees.